Hello everyone! I popped on a few minutes early just to give everybody a chance to get on, so feel free to take your time. And if you end up watching this in the story, thanks for joining. Hi! Hello! So today we're going to be doing some really fun facial techniques. So I'm going to include some stuff for the guys, especially since I got 3 guys in from the beginning. So this will be good. But for now, we're going to wait a few minutes since I said I would start at 1 and I started a little early. So how is everyone today that's in chat right now? There's Mom. Hi, Mom. How is everyone today? Good? I hope good. I'm going to open this and give me a little bit more light so you guys can see better. There we go. That's better. Hi, Don. So we're going to be doing some cool facial stuff today. Waiting a few minutes to give everybody a chance to get in. I'm doing good, Mom. Glad to hear Marcus is doing well. So you may notice, if you look, I haven't shaved yet. So for the guys that are in, there's a reason I haven't shaved yet. Since we're going to be doing some facial stuff, I'll talk about that here in a few minutes. Give just a few minutes past 1 to give everybody a chance to get in. Of course, some people may join us late, so they'll just have to watch it in post. So also one of the things I'm doing is saving these videos to put up on YouTube. So if you are into watching this later, you don't get a chance to log in and see it in my story because I leave it posted for 24 hours up in the story area. If you're missing that, or if you join in late and it ticks down and you're like, no, I missed it, you can pop over to YouTube. It's the same Smiling Buddha SD. The link is actually in my bio, so you can click on that and it has a bunch of the different links for things. So yeah. So today we're going to be talking about facial stuff that we can do. We're going to talk a little bit. I know I did kind of a DIY spa day. Was one of the first big videos that I did with you guys almost a month ago. So I figured we could revisit some of the stuff from that, especially since I have all of my different serums here, and my different mists, so we can kind of talk about some of that stuff. So that'll be good. The other thing I can include, since I have my nice little ear dummy, is some ear points that you can do that help improve function of the body. So I can't say that they're anti-aging points because that would be, a misnomer, kind of. But they help promote the function of the organ systems in Chinese medicine that improve the overall look and feel of the face and skin and things like that. So you can actually use your ear to treat the whole body, but most of us are kind of worried about the face. And as a lot of the people, not necessarily in California right now, but in some of the other states, are slowly starting to open back up again, and we've been in quarantine for quite some time, I think people are worried about saving face, so to speak. So, hi Linda. So I want to thank everybody while I'm on for joining in on these videos. Your activity, your questions, and how you interact with me keeps me excited about doing these. So feel free, talk amongst yourselves, ask questions. I do watch as they scroll through, so that way I can answer them. So yeah, you end up helping me create the content for this, so I greatly appreciate it. And also, I want to say thank you to my friends, my colleagues, family, patients, everybody that's kind of chipped in and they've been engaging with my classes online, because I know normally we like to hang out together and do that stuff one-on-one, but I really appreciate you all going out of your comfort zone and joining in on the classes online, and it's just been awesome for that. So I really, really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. So you're keeping Smiling Buddha going during this time, both physically and emotionally. So thank you. So first off, you may have seen in story, I said, hey everybody, you should make sure your face is already washed. A cleanser, or I used a tea tree cleanser today, and I also used a scrub. Usually I will scrub first and then use a cleanser, just so that way I can get off the residual stuff, because I use a coffee scrub. So sometimes little bits of coffee likes to hang out in my beard and stuff, and I don't want to walk around with coffee all in my beard. So that's not fun for anyone. So that's the order that I do. You could do either way, as long as you rinse it off and you're good to go. So we have a clean face. So the next thing I'm going to do, and I like doing this in this order for me personally, is my toner. So you can do this before, you can do it after. I like doing it before because the essential oil in this one is really good for anti-aging. It's also really good as an anti-inflammatory. So I can put that on the skin first and then add my moisturizer. So you can either spray directly on the face if it's a spray, whatever toner you like to use. At home, sometimes I have a really nice rose and glycerin one that I use that helps with little red spots here. So we're going to use my toner that I make. It's a helichrysum with a little bit of witch hazel and spring water. And you can hear those are Reiki infused gem chips inside to help shake up the helichrysum. So just a few squirts is enough. And we're just going to go over the whole face. Being careful not to get it in the eye, but I want to go under the eye, especially because of that anti-inflammatory nature. It's really good for these dark circles. Hit my nose up because I was squeezing out some stuff earlier before I left the house. And toner helps to shrink up the pores. And since we're going to be putting some oil on the skin, shrinking those pores up now actually helps them stay clean. That's why I like doing toner then moisturizer. But some people, they feel like their moisturizer is a little too heavy, so they like to come over with a little bit of toner and wipe off the excess. So, you know, it works. And you'll notice I am hitting my beard. So the downside, if I use cotton, I may get little fuzzies, but the benefit of doing it is more important than the fuzzies. The benefit is that sometimes we get ingrown hairs, we get hair follicles that get angry and irritated. So having an anti-inflammatory type of essential oil toner is really good for that. So we're coming in and cleaning up and hitting around the mouth. And since you're at home, you have all the permission to touch your face that you want. So you make sure that your hands are washed before you're doing this. You can even hit your ears. And this I would suggest doing because we are going to come back and hit the ears with a few little things. So doing some anti-inflammatory cleaning the ears. Your ears always need a little extra cleaning anyway, which is fine. Especially for the ladies who use makeup. Sometimes if ears happen to be a little redder, like mine are, you may decide to put foundation on them. And then that stuff gets all gunked up in there, and that's kind of gross. So, good. And see, I washed and scrubbed. And this is going to be a little gross. See, even though I washed and scrubbed, you can still see that's not pure cotton. This is pure happy cotton. And it's kind of hard to see because of the light. There you go. As you can see, it's a little dirty. So even though I really scrubbed hard on my face, there's still all this little leftover residue. So that's why we're doing this. So, phase 1 complete. We are toned. Now, I'm going to choose one of my serums. So, we'll do a little Q&A to get you guys active. How many of you have combination skin, meaning that you have kind of that oily in some places and dry in others? Or maybe you even have some acne, especially for my ladies, that's tied to your cycle. So, show of hands if you have combination skin. Combo for sure. For those who are gamers, combo breaker. So we got combo. Mom's got the combo. Mom away from mom's got the combo. Marcus has got the combo. So, for those of you with combo skin, I would go with this one that I make called Shin Calming. Is that cute? Shin Calming. So the Shin Calming has several different oils in it that are really good for evening out skin, namely the rosemary and the tea tree. The tea tree in this one is really nice. So you noticed when I said I started this morning, I used a tea tree facial cleanser. So that tea tree actually helps to break up. It's antimicrobial. So it helps get in the little bacteria that's in the skin that causes breakouts. It helps kind of fight that. Plus, it helps cool and soothe some of the areas of inflammation. So it's really good for those combo type skin types. So, how many of you, I'm going to wave at before that goes away. How many of you have problems with dark circles under the eyes? Especially lately, since we've been staring at our computers and our phones quite a bit. And you may answer yes to both, so I understand if you do. But that way I can talk about the benefits of all three. If you're a dark circle under the eye person, person's like me again. Mom's like me. So I like this one, and sometimes. So the chi tonifying that I have, I use cute little Chinese medicine terms for these because it's what I do. Chi tonifying, when we tend to be sluggish and tired, usually we're chi deficient, so that's where I got this chi tonifying idea, and that's usually tied in with those dark circles under the eyes. This one has a little bit more mint in it, so that mint helps to waken up and kind of get the blood flowing, so it's really good for those dark circles under the eyes. It's also good for combination skin. Some people find tea tree a little too drying, but this does have other herbs in it and oils in it to help combat that piece of it. So for me, I alternate between these. I like them both. I like the smell of the chi tonifying a lot. There's a little bit of lavender. There's a little citrus in this one. But because this one is citrus, and any of your things that have citrus oil in them, you have to be careful using it during the day. Any citrus oils on the face, especially bergamot, but namely any citrus, has a little bit of the ability to cause your skin to be easier to be damaged by the sun. So those of us in Southern California know it's sunny quite a bit, and even when it's a cloudy day, we can get burned. So decreasing that potential sun damage is huge for us. So this one I would only use at night. The Shen Calming I can use during the day before I leave the house if I want to. And the same thing for last but not least, how many of you have really, really dry skin? And I have a feeling since we were talking about combo, not too many of us are in that category. And this one I'm looking at the dry kind of, I don't want to say parchment because that sounds mean, but especially the very noticeable dry patches that get kind of more wrinkly. You don't have to raise your hand on this one. I don't want you to call yourselves out unless you decide you want to. But if that's the case, then the Jing Nourishing is the one that I would use. Jing Nourishing is really good at those dry spots. The bergamot in it, the ylang ylang, and the patchouli in it are especially good at nourishing the skin. Plus, all of them have the same Chinese herbs in it that are nourishing, tonifying, anti-inflammatory. So they're all going to help with that a little bit, but each one with the essential oils makes it a little bit more special. And so the serums that I do, you can use them anywhere on the body. Anywhere on the body is perfectly safe to use these. And the price point is to a point where you could use it as a body oil if you wanted to. Size-wise, you may run out of it a little faster if you use it elsewhere. But what I do, for me, so if mom was to be my patient or my consult for facial stuff, if I was talking to her, I would probably suggest either the Qi tonifying or the Shen calming, even with the dry in other areas, because what she can do, I'll show you, is you're going to get some moisture from this. One, it's got olive oil in it, which is great for the skin. Been used since we've grown olives. Two, it has a lot of vitamin E in it. So vitamin E, natural anti-aging, awesome for the skin. People take it in horse pill that's filled with oil. There's two usually different types. One is plant-derived, usually from soybean, sometimes another different type of oil. And the other is from fish oil, are high in vitamin E. So depending on what you want to do, these are the vegetable base. So I try to use that. So that way people don't worry about that problem. So I'm going to use the Shen Calming today because I have some little red spots that you might see up in here on this line here and over here. So what you can do, it sounds a little oily or a little airy because I haven't used it in a little bit, but that's it. Burp, burp, burp. You can see just a teeny little bit, like 2 little squirts basically. We're massaging it into the hands, gently on the face. Now me, I just shaved my head this morning, so I'm going to use it on my scalp too. And since I have hair on my beard, the other cool thing that we can use this for, I'm almost out of this one, can use it as beard oil. And then we're going to use it down in here. Now, I said before, because I'm talking to the guys a little bit, why I didn't shave before doing this. Because I'm going to be doing gua sha and doing some rolling on the face. Anytime you're doing a lot of that movement on the face, you can irritate the follicles. So if I've shaved, my hair follicles may be wide open from shaving. Putting all this oil and doing all this movement of stuff, it's very easy to irritate that and cause razor burn, or to get an ingrown hair or an infected hair follicle. Not infected, but basically a nasty pimple. So to avoid that, I'm doing this now, and I'll shave later. So if I was going to do this at home, probably want to do it the night before so I could shave in the morning and be fine. But the nice thing, if I do this before I shave, the hair is so moisturized, it's so nourished that when I cut it, it's going to grow back and it's going to not be as split at the end. So if I'm trimming my beard with one of those electric trimmers, which is what I use, and most of us do, then it's less likely to have like a split frayed end. So it's less likely to get those weird kind of like 5 hairs in one thing. So the more frequently I do this as a regular basis, it helps keep this nice and neat. And it even works if it's just a goatee instead of a full beard. So you can even hit your eyebrows with it if you want. So you can see on my hands, they're still glistening. So there's still a little bit there. I can hit my elbows with it. A nice little dry spot on the elbows. My knees. Those little dry spots that we were talking about. And one, since I used it on my hands, now my hands are moisturized. Now I will say, if you're used to using another type of serum, or if you're used to using a cream, using a face oil you can notice it's still kind of dewy and glistening. It absorbs just a little bit slower. And I think Linda's bought my stuff. Marcus has used my stuff. Mom hasn't used it yet. I think Dawn may have used it. I don't know. But anyway, the ones who are in, if you've used it, it is different. And you can attest to that. You can even say in the chat if you want to. So it feels different. So it may take you a few days to go like, do I like this or do I not? Give it a try. Try it out. And you're going to love it. I promise. So, shin calming. We did that. So who has a roller? It doesn't have to be this one, exact one. If you don't have a roller, I also sell these. This one is a jade roller. Jade is a cooling stone. It helps to pull heat and inflammation out of the skin. So that's why they're often made with it. You can find them in rose quartz, which is a pretty pink if you like that. I've seen opal, which is good for the skin. There's tons of different ones that are out. But I like my little cute jade roller, especially these because it has that nice little acupressure thing on the end of it. So these. So the idea with rolling, we're trying to encourage our face to fight gravity, 1, and improve blood flow, 2. So if you have this one, or if you have one of those microdermal rollers that has the little teeny tiny needles on it. So we are going in a general direction up and also out. So the out wide usually happens up here where we're kind of, think of your forehead like a wrinkly pair of pants, especially mine. You can see this one here and this one here. So we're ironing out those wrinkles. Now you don't have to into it. You don't want to do that. You're just encouraging it. So I usually start and work my way around. So I'm right-handed. I tend to start on the right. And before it gets too oily on the jade part, I like to come in and do under the eye. And you don't want a lot of pressure here because the more pressure you put around your eyes, and the ladies will know this from doing makeup, the more pressure you put under the eye, the more likely you are to cause it to wrinkle. And if you didn't know that, FYI, when you're putting on eye makeup, that's one reason why you dab a little bit and then you smear instead of because you're stretching that delicate tissue and encouraging wrinkles. So we're coming in there. And for you today, so that way you can see the difference one side versus the other, I'm only going to do one side. I'll do the other side later. But that way you can see the difference and why even just this is helpful to do. So we come in here and do this for a little bit. You can also put these in the refrigerator and clean them first, then put them in the fridge, and then probably clean it again before you use it. But that jade will get nice and cool and feels really good under the eyes, especially as the weather starts warming up. So we're coming in here into the brow, doing the same thing there, massaging that. And then I'm going to pull. So pressure in and pulling out. And I'm going to kind of go back and forth like a little magic eraser. I'm going to go up and down here, back and forth, because I have that nice little divot up there that I need to start treating with some facial acupuncture. And we're going out. So you can see a little bit already, it's a little pinker from increasing that blood flow. And also from the tea tree oil. So we're coming up, and this is where the up motion is really helpful because we're encouraging that up here. Now, those of us with beards, these little things on top of your beard hurt because it's always going to grab in there. It's like getting hair caught in a zipper. It does not feel good. So I like to just do this on my cheeks, ladies. Or if you have a beard too, no judgment. I am going to go through here, but I found that light and pushing is usually less likely to catch a hair, and I go really slow with it. So if I do catch a hair, I'll feel it before it pulls all the way out, and I can embrace or brace for the inevitable. Do the top of the lip. I'm coming out this way. So we're doing that, and we're coming in here, doing under, and we're only doing one side of the face today, so that way you can see the difference, especially from this darkness here, and you can see the glow, even from just doing a little bit of face rolling and taking care of our face. So, coming in there, and now here we're going up. So we're going up. And you can hear ear. So, if you followed along, feel free. While I'm talking about the other side, do your other side if you're following along and doing with. So, now I have an oily tool. So, one of the things you can do is get a little Tupperware container and put some Listerine. Works really well for most of the little bacteria that you get. Actual alcohol will kill more. So, feel free to join later, Don. I know you're a busy bee. Thanks for popping in. So again, if you have to drop out and pop back in later, feel free. I'll post this up on my story so you can watch, but then I'm also posting on YouTube, links in the bio, so you can click on that. So I'm just taking alcohol and wiping this down, and then I will UV light it later because this is one in my office, right? So I want to make sure that it's sterilized and safe for use. But at home, wipe it down with alcohol, soak it in Listerine, Barbasol, if you get this stuff like barbers use, if you have like a Sally Beauty supply, you can even order it on Amazon, I think. Not that I try to get my stuff at stores, even if it's a big box store, at least to help suggest movement in the local economy. But anyway, so there's that. 2, either a facial gua sha tool. So this one is a cute little jade again to help clear heat. And this one I like because it has several different curves to it, so I can follow different shapes of the face easier. So I like this one. But this one I like even better for doing both things. So I can do facial stuff with this one, and I can do body stuff. Technically I can do body stuff with this one too, but this one, since it has that finer edge, kind of hard to see, but you can see there, it's a finer edge than this, makes it very useful for body gua sha, or like the body scraping stuff. You can also just use a regular spoon. If you're using a regular teaspoon, I would suggest, just for size purposes, you want to use the rounded part of it. And this is good if you don't currently have a jade roller yet either. So we're coming in, we're using the round portion and coming in and massaging that. It's a slightly different massage than what you're going to get from doing the roller. So even though we spent some time in that area, we're still coming back to it. And with this one, what I'm trying to do is the pressure, I'm pushing more on the bone and allowing that to take the pressure, and the rest of it's along for the ride. And that helps encourage the muscle that's right here, the cheek, to relax a little bit and not be so tight. It's really good for tension that happens in the jaw. So we can come in here and do that technique. Now, if you're using something like a gua sha tool, or even this, because it's a little bit more smooth ceramic than a metal teaspoon, you can come in and use the side. I wouldn't do this with a metal spoon, just because metal spoons tend to be even finer and more apt to scratch. But if you have something that's smooth porcelain, ceramic, stone is really helpful. So what I'm doing is bringing that edge this way. And I notice when I'm doing it, I can feel how much finer this edge is than my normal jade tool. So the pressure needs to be a little bit lighter than what I'm used to doing with the jade. And so I'm coming through here and still doing that general motion to uplift or to lift up. And I can also come in wrinkle spots, and on both sides of it, remember we're kind of ironing out. Even though I'm coming down just in a small area, I'm trying to encourage this to release. So this will be a little less wrinkly. And you can see how quickly that gets pink from rubbing it. So I'm not trying to go red like you've seen pictures if you scroll through of gua sha. When you do body scraping, it'll come up red real fast. I'm not trying for that. So I'm only doing a little bit of pressure and going very light. I'm going for pink, just like I've been in the sun too long. So you can see how much pinker this is than this, just from rubbing. So we're gonna come up here and come this way with it. And if I have TMJ or tension in here, I may just put the edge and hang out there and massage into that joint a little bit for myself to help loosen that up, and then continue. So we're turning a beauty regimen, something that takes just a few minutes to do each day or every few days, into something that's healthy for us too. Because if we decrease tension, we're less likely to grind, fewer headaches, we feel better, we do more. Hey. So we're coming in and coming up again. We're encouraging my jowls to come up. I'm not going to say you have jowls. I'm not going to accuse you. Now, if we're doing in here in the neck, very light pressure. You don't want to go too deep. One, because over here-ish, you've got some areas of significant blood flow. We don't want to mess with that. So we're trying to stay in front of the ear. In front of the ear. Encouraging this to come up. And doing this over top of your neck. I have Adam's apples, so that little catching on the cartilage there. Everybody has cartilage there. But catching on that cartilage there feels a little funny. But this is also really good if your throat's a little scratchy or sore. If you're having to do a whole lot of like smiling, if you're doing these Zoom conferences and everything, and you're like, I'm trying to maintain my sanity, and smiling into the phone or the camera and everything like that, this muscle gets really tight. So encouraging that to release and relax is going to make you feel good and look good. So we like that. So any questions so far while I'm massaging my own face? And see, I come to this little area up here. I'm going to break that up. And this, I'm just going down. And I want to come across directly. And I want to come diagonal. And I want to come diagonal this way too. And then I want to come diagonal this way, even though it's technically the same direction. So the reason I'm doing that is I'm cross-fibering the area. I'm not sure, I can look at it and see exactly where that line is, but I'm trying to break up all of those. So chin, you can come in here. Now this one I'm using this side of it. For doing the regular spoon, you can come in here, come in here. Again, we're trying to come up because we want this to look like that, but not really. We want it to naturally look like that. That uplifted look is what we're shooting for. And you can see a little difference even just looking in. Notice here, you can see these lines here that you're not seeing those lines as much on my right side. And this is not with the facial acupuncture even. Facial acupuncture, that change would be even more drastic. And you can even see here. Doesn't look quite as deep as over here, right? You can see the way the light's hitting it. This looks less pronounced than this. So if you catch me profile this way versus profile this way, not a huge difference. This isn't like Botox. This is completely natural, safe to use on your body. And plus it's on the skin that'll take time and slowly absorb into the body versus injecting things. So, yay. So that's facial gua sha. If I was using one of these cool little tools, you can also order these. I don't have any in stock of this. I'm going to look at, once things kind of calm down with COVID, carrying these in the store too, so that way, or in my store, so people can get them easier. Same thing with it though, you're coming up this way, but I like that. And if you have more of a pronounced cheekbone, you can use this curve to match that a little better. I like the little pointy end, like the little tooth, to come in for this up here versus trying to use the other one, because it's a broader point, so it's not as mean. And plus for the chin, we can come in here a little easier than you can with the spoon, but you can come in like that. Cool. And the other thing I like for those of us with jawbone, everybody has a jawbone, this has that nice natural curve. You can come in this way. Now for guys, this is my little tip for guys doing this. If you have beard, after you come up this way, that's usually against the grain of the beard. One little stroke or two very lightly to come back down to help kind of any of the excess oil that gets up into the pore. You're encouraging that to come out, but you're not scraping really hard, or you're not using as firm a pressure as we did when we went up. Okay? Cool. So, face, we did. So, I don't know if you saw in the first part, some of us joined a few minutes late. I'm going to show you some ear points that you can use for your face. Ear for your face. Wow. So, you've been seeing me post a ton on my Instagram about ear seeds. There's even a really cool special going on for Mother's Day. They have a limited supply. They have really pretty little gold ones and pearl ones. Hand-signed gift card if you want to get them to send to somebody. There's an I love you, an I love you more, and an I love you most pack. And if pearls are your thing, I'm doing a special with that. If you decide to pick one of the I love you most, I'm throwing in a free 30-minute consultation. We'll do telemedicine like this. I'll give you ear points that you can use, body pressure points, whatever we want to talk about in that 30 minutes, it's all yours. So I'm doing that for free if you get the I love you most pack. So you can click on my bio for that too. But if you already have these, a lot of my friends, and I think Linda's already got hers, maybe, I don't know. A lot of people have these. So these are ear seeds. There's lots of cool links on my bio if you need more information about them. That'll be on there. This video is about how we're doing this for your face. So I used oil all over. My hands are a little oily again. So I will go back to the toner, or what I usually like doing at home, when I do these at home, is green alcohol. It's not as strong as regular alcohol. It has a little mint to it. The green alcohol I really like for doing like little touch-ups on the face if I need it, like really strong toner, that really strong astringent. One, it is really drying though. That's one. Two, the level of alcohol in it is not enough to kill major bacteria, so it's not good to use as hand sanitizer. Smells really good though. Hi! Smells really good though, so it's good for cleaning out the ears and stuff like that. But so you can just use toner if you want. I like my green alcohol because I like that little minty cooling, because my ears get hot. So we have tweezers, we have ear seeds, and you'll remember the cute little trick that I showed you guys about using a felt tip pen or a washable marker to mark your ear seed locations first. So this little ear, for all my acupuncture buddies who are looking at this, they will say, wait a minute, that's the NADA protocol. NADA. And we're not talking about your car value. The NADA protocol is these 5 points are what we would use to help with addiction, either food addiction, drug addiction, smoking, whatever you're trying to work on, is to help encourage the body to do that, those 5 points. We're going to subtract 1 because it's kind of hard to seed it anyway. So then it's not the actual full-on NADA protocol. But we're going to do Shen Men, which we had the Shen calming oil. So Shen Men, this one up here, which is this one. Ta-da! And see, now I have a target to put my ear seed on later. Shen Men. We're going to do 0.0. Remember, 0.0 is right here at the edge of that little ink. So it's right in there. Yours might be a little closer over here. Yours might be closer there. It's at the edge of this little piece of cartilage right there where it joins into that. Okay? So we got that one, 0.0. This one is hard to seed, but it's worth it. It's up in here. And that point that's hidden up in there is called kidney. You can see it written in there, but it may be in reverse. So if we take our earlobe and come up here, right in that line from where 0.0 is, and come up inside that little loop, it's right on the inside there. So, kidney. Then we're going to come down here, and you see where it says this area here? There's one that says heart. Lung is this whole area. We're going to come down and do the bottom part of lung. And you're going to say, why the hell, and pardon my French, but I like to cuss a lot. Why the hell would I do kidney and lung for my face? Well, for me, especially, one, kidney, this dark area here usually shows deficiency or something wrong with the Chinese medical system of your kidneys. Kidneys in Chinese medicine don't necessarily mean your Western organs. So your Western organs, if you ever hear an acupuncturist or a Chinese massage therapist or something like that say something about an organ, they are not talking about your Western organ. So for me, I have kidney deficiency. That means I'm a little tired, my adrenals are a little off, the dark circles under here, drier skin in some places, maybe a little bit of asthma, especially exercise-induced asthma where I can't bring in that air down very well, low back pain, knee pain, that type of stuff is attributed to the kidney system. So that's why we want to do the kidney point. The lung point, for Chinese medicine, your lungs are not only responsible for breathing, like your regular Western lungs are, but the Chinese lung system is also responsible for skin health. Hello, skin health. So doing the lung area is going to help with the skin. Doing this Shen Men point up here, just like the Shen calming oil, it's going to help calm things down. It helps decrease inflammation, helps feel relaxed. And we say the Shen is seen in the eyes and the face. So that like, yay, I'm here, I'm happy look that you can have in the face. That's your Shen being able to speak to other people. So we want that to be nice and calm. And then this little area 0.0 is really good for equilibrium. It kind of brings the body back into balance. So if I'm having a lot of breakouts, hormones are out of balance, it's really good at trying to get the body back to here. If my sleep isn't great, it's really good at trying to get the body back to a natural biorhythm. It's just a really good all-over balancing point. So we definitely want that if we're trying to make the face look good. So we can do this on both ears. I'm just going to do this one for time's sake. And now I did those little points, so I have these nice little dark dots to aim for, which makes this a lot easier to do. Now when you do this on yourself, you can do a little side mirror if you have one, helps out a little bit more. If you have like a little palm mirror to look at and angle. I'm just doing it in my phone. which makes an awesome compact for those who may not have ever thought to use it that way. That selfie mirror or selfie camera function is great. Since my phone is water resistant, I use it in the shower as a mirror to like shave my head and stuff, so I can wash all the little bits of stubble down the drain. So, any questions from people as I ear seed? So this one, doing kidney point, it's kind of tricky. I'm turning it with the bead up this way, because remember that one is up here, and then I'm coming in with my finger, and sometimes it takes 1 or 2 tries. We got that one. We got that one on the first one. I can already feel it. Another thing you can do if you got nails and you're trying to push those in is use the round side after you've placed it to kind of come in and push on it and push around the bead to make sure that the adhesive is set. That's the reason why I cleaned my ear again with the alcohol, by the way, because it helps clean excess oil off and allows the glue on the tape to adhere a little better to the ear. We don't do that before we put on a Band-Aid per se because it burns, but we clean the area, soap and water and stuff like that. But this is the same type of like flex tape that you have on those little Band-Aids. So ear, it's gonna look like I'm trying to shove it inside my actual ear. It is not going in the ear. And no, it does not hurt. It may be a little tender on some spots, but it's not a needle. It doesn't go into the skin. It's just pushing on the skin. So you can see these teeny tiny little beads. Teeny, teeny, tiny. I'll give you a pin tip. See how big? It's just teeny tiny. Or an eraser gives you an idea even better. They're small. So they may be a little tender because these points often show disharmony in the body. So when we squeeze on them, we may go, ah, but it doesn't hurt. Definitely doesn't hurt. So we said we would see what one side looks like versus the other after we did this whole facial routine. So we see still more relaxed than this side. This side is more relaxed than this side. We see those little wrinkles under there. This side's still a little dark. Gary needs to take better care of himself. Some cucumbers tonight might be a good idea for me. They have these fun, I think I still have some here. I may still have, I do. May take a while to get them on Amazon, but they have these cute little collagen things that you can get when you're doing your little facials at home. I like throwing them in the fridge before I use them. I'll probably do this later. And there's a little bit of collagen, and you just put them under your eye like that. So the main difference on what we did today versus what I would do in the office would be facial needles. So I have these teeny tiny cute little facial needles that we could do in the office to help with the wrinkles. So I would come in here and needle here and here. I could needle over here and help with crow's feet. I can needle in here and help with that laugh line that develops. I can come in here and up this way to help encourage that natural lifting of the face. And you can scroll through my Instagram and see people who've had both done. We even do that point. You saw me do a post on that a few days ago. If not, scroll back through and see. This little point here is good for relaxing everything. So we can come in here and get that nice relaxed look into the forehead. And instead of us sitting in the mirror going, oh, I wonder what it would look like if this was more relaxed and this was up this way. We can do that without injections, without anything. And the cool thing with facial acupuncture is a few sessions and you get noticeable results. You can get a noticeable result even after one session. If we do weekly sessions for 8 in a pack, you'll notice great results. Usually it looks like you've had a little bit of Botox done without the numb face. And we can do that, and then in a couple more months, usually 3 to 6 months, do another session just to kind of keep things updated. and then you have a point where you're having that youthful looking glow. Granted, you can do it all the time and feel awesome and relaxed. And the other thing I do in the office is do body support points. So that's one thing we can do too, is a few little body support points. So we have a few minutes at the end for Q&A. So all your questions. That was a good one, by the way. Ask away. I'm here. And if you're curious, iced coffee. Looks like I need to come in on the neck a little bit. We can also do there too. Very superficial. I tend to do more massage in this area versus needling, but we can also superficially come into this and help a little bit. So ask away. It can be about anything. It can be about Reiki. We talked about that earlier this week. Anything Chinese medicine, acupuncture, acupressure. Feel free. You have me as a captive audience for about another 6 minutes or so since we started early. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to go ahead and do this side. So that way I'm not all uneven. And you can see, if I'm not talking and trying to show you technique, how quickly I can do this. For rosacea, so the Shen calming is good for rosacea, with the oils that are in it. If it's more the redder rosacea, the Shen calming. If it's more the drier rosacea, the Jing nourishing. Either of those are good. Additional point that I would do for the ear is actually the top of the ear, like right on the edge here. I'll do that one for you just before we get done, because that helps clear out heat in the body. And usually rosacea is trapped heat in the body trying to get out. And that's either heat because too little moisture. So cucumber, mint, as far as eating, is really good for helping to calm that down. Trying to watch out, at least for a little bit, your greasier foods, dairy, maybe even decreasing gluten for a little bit, is good for that. Quite often the skin disorders like rosacea, eczema, they're all different in Western medicine especially, and there are different causes for it and from a Chinese standpoint too. But they're usually due to some type of gut or digestion imbalance, basic gut health. So that's why internal as well as external is usually the best way to do it. So mint, cucumber, the mung bean recipe that was in my April newsletter is really good for helping with rosacea and eczema, both. Another thing that you can get at some of it's not in my serum, so I really like my serum, but there's a ton of different Chinese and Korean product called pearl powder that usually has actual pearl in it, like mother of pearl that's ground up to super fine into a powder and mixed in with a cream. That's also usually pretty good for rosacea. But I don't know what else they may have in some of their stuff, because sometimes when you're buying some of the products from Asian markets, you look and you're like, oh, what is in this? And you look and sometimes they have other additives in it that aren't that great for the skin, even though they have stuff in it that's really good for the skin. That's why I like mine, because it's like 97% organic, essential oils, Chinese herbs. But good question. Any other questions? We got just a few more minutes before it's gonna time me out. I don't have a little warning timer yet, but when it does, I only have 2 minutes. So ask away, anything. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you're gonna be like, ask what? I can't ask anything because this isn't live. Well, you'll be watching a recording, I understand, but you know. So you may be asking yourself, Gary, that's awesome that you have all this stuff. How can I get my hands on your serum? Well, Linda's here, so she knows how she can get it. She's bought it before. I'm throwing her out there. But you can buy my stuff from me if you live in San Diego. I can deliver. No extra charge right now because of craziness with COVID. Tip appreciated, of course, but no charge for the delivery. I can also mail it to you. Slight shipping charges apply if you want me to mail you some of my stuff. The nice thing I do now with the serums is I have a dripper bottle and regular caps, so you don't have to worry about it leaking as much as these did when I was trying to mail them. And plus it has the little dripper bottle. I love iPads. Both the iPad and iPads. So I like taking a pillowcase and spraying it with my mist. I almost forgot. Y'all almost let me forget. So the best thing to do when you're done with all of this is to finish it with an essential oil mist. So for me, I like that spa feeling. I really like my water blend. It has that lemon, spearmint. Just a little bit of lemon on the face for right now is fine. It's not enough to really cause a problem. It's not like I'm working it into my skin. So I can do just a little quick spritz. Then I can even add some here. Just a few spritzes. And now I feel and smell like I went to a day spa and had them work on my face for an hour. And instead I worked on my own face for, minus sitting and talking for like half an hour of actual doing stuff. And that's maybe half an hour if I included the scrub that I did in the shower today. But finishing it off with a little bit of a mist helps you relax better, you feel better, your skin feels better. But I like personally the water spray kind of has that light spa quality to it. Technically for skin, the metal spray would be better, but it has that eucalyptus kind of rosemary scent to it. So it smells a little bit more good for your lungs to help wake those up. So it is good for the skin too, but for me, I like that pepperminty or the spearminty fragrance of the spa. Earth is also good. It kind of smells like a chai tea latte or chai tea. So if you want that more like light citrusy smell with a little bit of cinnamon. The fire spray. The funny thing with this, with all of the woods that are in this one, the metal in the shower. I love using metal in the shower. This one with all of the different wood essential oils in it, like the patchouli, even the clove bud, the palo santo, the Peru balsam, all of that's in here makes it really good and nourishing even for the skin. So this one, it smells kind of like an incense, kind of like a yoga type incense that you would use to like relax and meditate. So maybe that is more up your style, especially for the guys. It kind of has that woodier scent, like a cologne. And then we have the lavender patchouli that's in the wood spray. Also, again, really good anti-inflammatory for the face. So whichever you like, you can hit. It's a very light mist, refreshing, especially as we're starting to head into spring and summer. You can do this. You still feel nice and cool. So you can do it in the morning before you head out. If you're not wearing, for the guys, do it in the morning. If you head out, you look great. For ladies, you may want to do it more in the evening. So if you decide to do makeup or powder or whatever, then you're not putting that on top of all of this oil. This will sink in. You can all see a little bit of sheen on my head, but this will sink in. It'll take it a little while, but then you'll have that nice